not ready to go it alone. Democratic Senator Joe Manchin not willing to jump on board with Dems. And tonight, Manchin is the one with the power, holding Biden's agenda in his hands. And he's not on board with Democrats passing the infrastructure bill with no Republican support. Just listen to Manchin, who just spoke out to our Manu Raju.
We need to do something in a bipartisan way. We can't continue on these types of projects because we were able to bring everything to fruition working through a bipartisan way. The Republicans didn't get everything they wanted the last time, as you recall. And basically, we're not going to get everything, but we can move forward. And the president has that desire and the urgency to get something big done.
You're not ready to go for Democrats to do this alone on reconciliation right now.
I've always been to the point where we've got to work together. You know, you can only do so much by yourself. And that's what we're not designed to work that way. The House is. The House was designed strictly for what they do. It comes hard at you, whether it's Republicans in control or Democrats. The Senate was never designed that way. The Senate was designed for, okay, I see that right there, but we can, you know, we can maneuver that a little bit and we can massage it a little bit and make it a little bit better.
Manchin is completely at odds with many Democrats who say they're ready to act alone if they have to. They don't care if they don't get a single Republican on board. It comes as Senator Mitch McConnell today says he's not sure there will be a deal, which really may mean a pretty simple thing, which is that the only way Democrats can actually pass this major legislation is to do it alone, to push it through reconciliation, which would require only a simple majority.
If it's not sold to the Republicans, will you do it without them?
We have no choice but to move forward.
If Republicans want to come on board seriously, great. If not, we're going to do it alone.
I think we are getting pretty close to a Fisher cut bait moment.
Manchin just not there. He's saying it's got to be bipartisan. And right now, that is what power looks like. In response, Biden has offered to slash the price tag of the bill by nearly half, from $1.7 trillion to $1 trillion. It wasn't Republicans that got him to do that. It was Manchin's stance here. Manchin has also made it clear he's against paying for the infrastructure bill by hiking the corporate tax rate to 28%, as Democrats want. This is what power looks like, because today CNN is learning that President Biden is now trying to find a way to pay for his plan without raising corporate taxes. This is power. And this power goes beyond infrastructure. Biden needs Manchin on board for his other priorities, including a massive bill on voting rights. That will require Manchin to go along with eliminating the filibuster, something that he has been clear on. He just told our Manu Raju he is unwilling to bend on that.
And you've been very clear about your desire for the Senate.
And I'm still very clear about that.
And could you just say, just take it off the table and say you'll never reduce the 60-vote threshold on the filibuster?
Let me just tell you one thing. We're going to make the Senate work the way it was intended to work. I'm totally committed to that. And I'm not throwing caution to the wind. I have never desired to do that. I've listened to everybody's point of view. But the bottom line is this country has got to unite it. We can't divide it.
Not going to get rid of the filibuster. A no-go on what Democrats are now, in chorus wanting to happen. Can't happen if he's not on board with it. All of it leading Biden earlier this week in frustration to single Manchin out, along with another Democratic senator who often stands with Manchin, Kyrsten Sinema.
I hear all the folks on TV saying, why doesn't Biden get this done? Well, because Biden only has a majority of effectively 4 votes in the House and a tie in the Senate, with 2 members of the Senate who vote more with my Republican friends.
Well, that's not actually accurate. Biden is wrong about that final point there. Manchin and Sinema have voted with the Democrats most of the time. But the bottom line is this. They've got the power. You hear Manchin's comments tonight. Frustrating a lot of Democrats. Manu Raju is out front tonight in Morgantown, West Virginia, where you just saw him speaking to Senator Manchin. Jeff Zeleny is out front live in Washington. Manu, let me just start with you since you had a chance to speak to Senator Manchin. What more did he tell you?
Well, he's making it very clear that he is not ready to buck Republicans in the 50-50 Senate. And that is so significant because getting legislation through will require either Joe Manchin changing his position on either trying to get an infrastructure package done along straight party lines, something they can do presumably through the budget process that allows them to avoid a Republican-led filibuster. He is not ready to do that. He says talks need to continue. They've been going on for months. A lot of Democrats say, let's give up. He also is not ready to abandon the filibuster to get a major voting legislation through the Senate. He opposes the Democratic plan, but he also is working on a narrower piece of legislation aimed to bolster voting rights and access. But even if 10 Republicans don't agree with that, he is not on board with the idea of changing the filibuster rules to allow that voting legislation to move forward. But he made clear that he's willing, wants the both two sides to work together. The question is, will he change his mind? He's making it clear he's not.
You're making it very clear in his interview with you.
What evidence do you have that Mitch McConnell wants to work with you? Because last week he blocked a commission bill, and he could have, and you saying that he wants to work with you.
That one's dead either. I'm not saying that one's dead either. You know, I was very disappointed. I think it was wrong what he did, and I've said that. He knows how I feel about that. And they looked at it truly as a political. I did not look at political from that standpoint. I looked as our country coming back together. It was totally everything they asked for. It was totally bipartisan. I think Nancy Pelosi was very gracious in what she had offered, basically making it totally bipartisan. Chuck Schumer said, okay, I'll do the same. They were able to come to a disagreement. They were able to have the same staffing levels. Everything was done in the most bipartisan way. And for him...
But they blocked it because of the filibuster.
Well, one person blocked it on that. But the bottom line is we have 7 people, 6 that voted, 7 would. We need 3 more. Let's give it another shot.
I mean, so you can say you'll never reduce a 60-vote threshold.
Basically, we're going to make the place work. We're going to make the
You're not
place.
taking that off the table then.
We're making it work. We're going to make the place
You're
work.
not taking reducing the 60-vote threshold off the table.
Done it. We're going to make the place work. I don't know what else I can tell you. And you can't make it work unless the minority has input. You can't disregard a person that's not in the majority. The Senate was never designed that way. And I've said this, if you want to know the workings of the Senate, why do we have 2 senators for every state, small and large? What did our founding fathers, what are they thinking of? They wanted the participation for the smaller, the minority. And a state back then of Delaware or Rhode Island was a very small state compared to New York and Virginia. So he wanted that input, and we want that input. We'll make it work.
I know you're got to go in 1 second, but you know you're also just in the center of so many issues in Washington. One of the issues is you're working on trying to get a voting rights bill passed with Lisa Murkowski. You're working. Let me finish the question. There's no sign that there's actually going to be 60 votes to get that done. Some of your Democratic colleagues say Joe Manchin should agree for an exemption, allow voting rights to pass on a simple majority, change the Senate's filibuster rules to do that. Would you be open to that?
I asked everybody, how well did the 2013 nuclear option work when in 2017 they came back and took it off the Supreme Court? That's all. What goes around comes around. So let's work together. Let's find a pathway
So
forward.
you wouldn't do that, an exemption.
Find a pathway forward.
Last question. Joe Biden this week he said that you vote more with Republicans than Democrats.
I don't think. I think that's taken totally out of content. I spoke to the White House. I think that was totally out of content.
So that key point there, he's saying that what comes around goes around. That is the warning that he has been giving to the left for months, saying that if we do change the filibuster rules, ultimately Republicans will be back in the majority, and then they will do whatever they want, which is why that he is holding firm despite relentless pressure. But of course, that means, Aaron, that Joe Biden's agenda hinges on the support of one man, and one man is saying, work with the Republicans.
Yeah, I mean, it is incredible, and incredible to hear him stand up, not backing down there in his conversation with you, Manu. Incredible, like getting the price tag cut in half to try to get him on board. All right, thank you very much, Manu. So I want to go now to the White House and Jeff Zeleny. So Jeff, Senator Manchin speaks, and the White House listens. How closely are they watching Senator Manchin's every word right now?
They're watching him very closely, but President Biden perhaps the closest of all. But one thing is key. President Biden would likely have not been surprised by anything that we just heard from Senator Manchin, because he knows that this is part of the process, and they have to run out the full tape here. They have to actually try to get a bipartisan agreement. This is not for show. This is not political theater. This is not some running out the clock. This is what is key to try to get the infrastructure bill right now that's on the table passed. That's why Shelley Moore Capito, the Republican senator from West Virginia, coming back to the White House to have a phone call tomorrow with the president. We'll see how serious they are on negotiating, but this is something that they need to play out. Now, we heard Senator Manchin leave the possibility open for, what happens if negotiations completely fail. So we don't know that. And he does generally vote with this White House. But the reality is Democratic senators and Democrats across Washington can, be angry. They can be fuming. They can be furious at Senator Manchin. But the reality is that's who they have. Without him, they would have 49 senators, and this would be an entirely different conversation. So they should have won more seats in other races last year if they wanted to avoid this problem. But this is the scenario. But the relationship, Aaron, I am told by talking to people in the White House between President Biden and Joe Manchin, the two Joes, as we call them a lot, is critical here going forward. We do not know that if these bipartisan negotiations fail, that President Biden will really use that good relationship to try and get the agenda through. Again, important to remember that Senator Manchin votes with President Biden virtually all the time. We'll see if he does coming up on these big agenda items, Aaron.
All right, Jeff Zeleny, thank you.